Hello and welcome to today's video. So in today's video I'm going to be talking through the pros and cons of a placement year versus a year abroad. This is because in my degree I could choose whether I did a placement year or a year abroad. Some programs, when you apply through UCAS, you have to specify there and then whether you want a placement year or a year abroad, and usually you cannot then swap to a standard course without them. However, Manchester's psychology program is different, where you apply for straight psychology and then at the beginning of your second year you apply for either placement year abroad or none. So I applied for both. Obviously I wasn't going to go on both, and the application process for both of them was pretty thorough. The year abroad one, I just soon realised that I wouldn't be well enough to go abroad, so then I focused on applying for placement years. I applied for 5, 3 of them fell through, didn't even run one in the end, and I got an interview for 2. I attended the interview for 1 and sadly didn't get a place, and I didn't bother attending the interview for another one as I realised it wasn't really what I was interested in. So now I'm going to talk through the pros and cons that I came up with comparing a placement year to a year abroad. The positives of both of them is that you're getting a year out, so forget the exams, forget the stress. You don't have any of that to contend with. Obviously you are graduating a year after everyone else, so if you've made friends they'll have probably moved on, and it might be harder to find houses for next year because everyone that you knew will have graduated already. However, some people, they're kind of in their own race of life, so they're quite happy with that, whereas for others it can actually be quite a big problem that they didn't really think about beforehand. So I definitely consider whether you are comfortable with almost everyone moving on in life without you. I mean, it's only a year, but for some people that's quite important, that they stick around the people that they've almost gone through the rest of their degree with. Placement year may be paid, which is brilliant. However, if it's not, then you're going to have to come up with that money, and you may be living in a different area to where you went for uni. So for example, if your placement year is in London, that's going to be a lot more expensive than if it was somewhere else in the country. They're very competitive, as a lot of people want them, and it's a really good thing to have. Just general work experience while you're on your degree. It's testing you about the real world, you're getting experience in a work setting, and you're making those connections that could even give you a graduate job after you graduate, which is a really good thing to have. You're also working in a sector that you might never have worked in before, and it's a good taster to know if you like it. Like, there's no point thinking I want to do this career if by the time you've done a year of it you think it's not for you. So a placement year is a really good way of almost testing the water and seeing if what you think you want to do is actually what you do want to do, which is really useful. The positives of a year abroad is that it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You'll be paying a very reduced fee to your own university, and also to which counts as like the other university's fee. So if you're going to America, you're saving tons and tons of thousands on what would be fees if you were to go over there. Obviously you're learning about different cultures, which can be amazing. However, you could be a long way from home, and some people may get homesick. Very reasonable that you might. Also, you're fitting in with a lot of new people. It's a lot of change, and you could get things such as culture shock. You might find the workload stressful as well. I mean, you've only got to pass, but I mean, to be fair, if I'd go, I'd still want to do well, so I'd probably put like extra unnecessary stress on myself, so you've got that as well. Obviously your support networks from home are not going to be there. You've got to think about time difference if you want to like FaceTime your family or talk to them, and also it's very expensive. So you've got all your visas, which if you need to get a visa to go where you're going, which can be very expensive, and it's a big time consuming thing having to sort out everything. So I definitely think while it probably is completely worth it, it is a lot of hassle and a lot of stress finding it and doing all the application process. So also COVID has kind of thrown a curveball in there of where you can go and what travel's like. So obviously it depends on what country and what the kind of guidelines are at that time regarding entry and everything like that. So this is actually a really short video. I thought it'd be a bit longer, but essentially my tips are: do what feels right for you. If you think a year abroad would really broaden your horizons and you think it'd be something you'd really enjoy, then definitely go for it. I think don't be put off just because people are like, oh, work experience is better. I think they both have, like I said, both pros and cons to each, and it just really depends what you're after. And okay, you can apply for a placement year, but you've actually still got to get the placement, and you've still got to do all like the admin and stuff for each of them. So there's still a lot of prep for both of them. There's interviews for placement years, and there's also just figuring out the logistics of going abroad for a year. So I think don't if you know that one's for you and one isn't, then obviously focus on that one. But I think you're very, like, completely right to pick whichever one you want. I think they're both great opportunities that could really get your foot in the door wherever you wanted to go, and you'd meet a lot of different people from basically both of them, because you're mingling in circles like you never would have before. So I definitely, like, give it a go, snatch it up. I remember that was one of the reasons I wanted to apply. So I wanted to apply to a degree with a year abroad or placement year aspect, as I thought it was really kind of cool. It's extra, isn't it? So you're getting a degree, but then you're also getting more. However, it's just turned out that I'm not going to be doing that, but I think that's pretty fine. I have a couple of plans of what I want to do after I graduate, so I think it's right for me not to go on any of them, if that makes sense. So while when I was applying in year 13, it was something I really wanted. I think it's just a lot of effort. Like, a lot of people, when they, like, do their UCAS, they're like, yeah, like, I really want to go abroad, really want to do this, and by the time you're in your second year applying, so many people are just like, I'm so done with my degree, like, just they just want to leave this, want to get it all done and out of the way. So I definitely be open to applying to degrees where you do get that experience, but also if you apply to a degree where you have that experience, you are forced to kind of do it. Whereas here, you can apply, then it can fall through, and you can easily just carry on onto the 3-year degree programme, whereas some of the programmes don't work like that. So I definitely, if it's something you want to do, if it's something that you think is outside of your comfort zone, I would still consider it, because university is all about kind of going out of your comfort zone. But then I'd think, I don't know, I definitely wouldn't be put off it, because if you're like 17 and you're thinking, oh, I'd never go away from home, like, that would never be me. I think you do change a lot over university, so I really wouldn't like put it out completely, because I do think that you do change and you do mature a lot, where you might even feel comfortable enough to, like, go away like that. So I definitely wouldn't, like, if it's something that you really know you don't want to do, then don't do it, but I would definitely consider it, as I think it's a really good opportunity, whichever you decide to take. So I hope that video was useful, and I hope it kind of inspired you and made you think about your different options that you can have when choosing a degree. So I just wanted to say thank you for watching. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you for the next video. Bye!